still people use 5, 10, 15% of what Salesforce can do or what HubSpot can do.
It's really hard to find the balance because you start with very simple interface, with simple functionality, but later you're adding more and more features, and at the end you're ending with very complicated CRM system.
The bar for software is going up just because people are so have used so much software in all parts of their lives that people want well-designed products. They want very thoughtful products. The bar for bad experiences or high friction is, people don't have a lot of sympathy for that and they want to be able to switch. Sure, I want to have a beautifully designed product, but I really think about just functionality.
We do not optimize for the users to make this more aesthetically pleasing or more usable, but to generate more value. Welcome everyone at Siden Podcast.
We are Yuri and Nastya. We run design agency Siden that focuses on B2B software. And we are super happy to welcome Todd.
Yeah, Todd Busler is a visionary in B2B sales. He's also founder and CEO of Champify. It's a product that helps sales and marketing teams to be efficient and generate more revenue for their companies. Todd brings a lot of knowledge and insights about sales operations, building efficient sales teams, and of course, as being a CEO, I'm sure he'll share a lot of interesting insights about his journey. So really thrilled to have you today with us and looking forward to this constructive conversation.
Likewise, thank you both for having me.
So a few years ago, it was commonly cited that people don't like CRM systems. You have to push them to use it. Usually you need to have a boss who will check if people enter all the information into CRM. And usually what I heard about, everybody used just 10, 20% of functionality inside of the systems. Do you think it's changing now? And now everybody loves to use CRM systems. Everybody is super enjoying that, or there is still a way of huge changes in the software we currently use in sales?
So there's a lot there. I don't think it's changed much. I don't think if you go and ask 1,000 sales reps, are they excited to go log into Salesforce and HubSpot and put their data in there? I don't think that's changed. I also agree that people use a very small chunk of what's out there. I think about it from two things. It's what's in the benefit for the rep to actually go and do this? And a lot of times there's not. It's mainly because someone above you needs to forecast, right? But I think the job as the leader and someone who's rolling out new software is to understand why it's in their best interest, why it's in the best interest of the company to use this, whether that's because, hey, this helps with deal reviews and we're going to have win rates go up, or this helps us forecast to make sure we're running the right financial plan and making the right strategic hiring decisions. I think you need to be able to explain why it's a benefit to the company and why it's going to help them individually. But even with that, still people use 5, 10, 15% of what Salesforce can do or what HubSpot can do. I don't know if I feel like that's a problem or just the reality of how sellers typically operate. From a design perspective, I think the bar for software is going up just because people are so have used so much software in all parts of their lives that people want well-designed products. They want very thoughtful products. The bar for bad experiences or high friction is, people don't have a lot of sympathy for that and they want to be able to switch. I think the way I think about it is a lot more sure, I want to have a beautifully designed product, but I really think about just functionality to say, if I'm a sales rep and they're using our product, this is definitely going to save them time or money by adopting this, and it's going to help them achieve their goals. Hopefully it looks as beautiful as possible, but I really think about it from a sales rep perspective that they just really are thinking, how can I save time to make more money? And if a product can help me do that and they feel comfortable about it, they're going to adopt it. So I think a lot of it more from a functional design than aesthetically, do we have the prettiest UI or the best colors or anything like that? But I think the bar overall is getting a lot higher for what people expect from software.
I think that also that's a difference between user persona and buyer persona, because we do not optimize for the users to make this more aesthetically pleasing or more usable, but to generate more value. That's why sometimes we can take some compromises and forget about really important things, but just to optimize the value that brings to the business itself. That actually brings up to the question: should designers be part of the teams who create sales tools? Because as you mentioned, that the bar is really high right now, and sales tools are really complex. Should it be like a big team of the designers that works on the tools, or uh, just the engineers who do the work and do not rely on the usability and do not consider that?
I think the early stage engineers are kind of a mix of like product and design and engineering, right? Like I think for us right now, we don't have full-time designer in-house. I'd love to be able to get there at some point, which means that engineers play a big part in that. Um, so I mean, look, if you raise a ton of money and you can afford it, or you're off to the races and you can get good design in-house, I would love to have that. I don't think we're there yet. I think as the product gets wider in its breadth and uh, becomes more of a platform, then yeah, someone like that would make a lot of sense to have on board.
Yeah, I would add it depends what game you are playing, because like if you are targeting people who are already using a lot of software and they just adding to their workflows, that's one case. But I've heard an anecdote. We have a client for whom we helped to design a CRM system, and we learned that there are some markets where adoption of CRM system is not so high. So there are like 60% or something people who work on this market and they're not using CRM system because their sales is like once a year, two a year. So it's not like their main job very often. And the idea is, let's make it super simple because people are not using that, because perhaps HubSpot is focused on totally different type of customers and users. But when it's really hard to find the balance, because if you start with very simple interface with simple functionality, but later you're adding more and more features, and at the end you're ending with very complicated CRM system, and everybody wants all in the system
At the same
Yeah.
time. Yeah. And as far as I know, that your product is based on Salesforce integration, and you probably adopted their UI and their UI's designs or styles. Do you think that in future it could become a bottleneck for you for your strategy if you would like to change the direction or try to integrate with other platforms like Zoho, Pipedrive, or maybe could become a standalone product or portal by adding more functionality? And since you already adopted this UI kit, it will be your limitation in future.
It's a great question. I mean, our logic when and our thesis when we started was, hey, look, salespeople interact. First off, they're already getting pulled to log into tons of new tools. Like that stack has grown quite a bit in terms of what they're supposed to do. And in a lot of our research, we found that people don't want new UIs, right? Really, what they want to do is have a lot of intelligence in their existing tooling, right? So our logic to start was, hey, people are in Salesforce every day, they're in email every day, they're using some type of sales engagement every day, especially if they're a commercial AE or an SDR or something. That's usually Outreach or SalesLoft or Groove or whatever it may be. And what we wanted to do is integrate into these systems as easy as possible. And I think customers really that message resonated with them. Like, hey, can you alert us in Slack? Can you alert us via email? Can you update our views in Salesforce and just make it really easy and frictionless to be able to interact with the intelligence Champify is providing? But to answer your question, as our product starts to expand, there are some limitations, right? There's limitations that allow us to get valuable really quickly. But as the product starts to expand, there's some things that we want to do where we're going to have to control that via UI. Right now, we're spending a lot of time thinking about, okay, what needs to happen in a UI? Will we be able to get people to actually adopt that? It has to be, in my opinion, a level a high bar for value to be able to get people to log into new software every day, right? So we're thinking a lot about like, okay, what's going to draw them to that UI? Is it going to be significantly better than what they could get accessing it in Salesforce or Slack or whatever it may be? And then how do we make it as easy and repeatable, easy as possible for them to repeatedly enter that and want to go there, right? So I do think it will be a limitation as we grow, and it's something we're actively working on. But I wouldn't have gone about it a different way because it allowed us to get to this point.
Mhm. You also brought up the like pain points that people working in sales have different tools, and for companies to be more efficient, it's better to have one entry point that will cover a lot of their tasks during a day. Do you see that in future this would be more like sales platforms that will cover different like will have the different features to uh, meet the needs of entire sales department, not for sales reps, deal closers, lead gens, and it will be just one tool that will cover all needs.
I think that's like nirvana, what people want. And I think consolidation is already happening. Like, Gong approached it from, hey, we're starting with conversational intelligence, and now they have a direct competitor on outreach, right? Outreach started with sales engagement and sending emails and writing, cadences and sequences, and now they have a call recorder that's powered by AI. And now they're both actually trying to own the opportunity and get into the world of the Clary space on opportunity management, revenue forecasting. So, like, look, a lot of these companies raised a lot of money, and you have to continuously expand the offering. And a lot of that comes to what new things can we sell to existing customers. And you're obviously going to step on each other's toes, right? So, like, I think if you're in that general space, when we look in 4 or 5 years, it's going to be more and more consolidation. And then you usually have another cycle later off that's like, okay, we start to get into a bundling phase, then we get back to the unbundling because all of these people do everything not that good, and I'm willing to have something that's more of a point solution. So I think right now consolidation has happened and driven a lot by the macro world. Um, I think that in theory, people would love to have less tools that work really well. But as it gets really easy to spin up software, if you have something that's 10x better than a feature from one of these suites, and the business case is there, people will pay for it. Like, people will always pay for sales and marketing tech based on how closely it ties to revenue and how much pressure there is to grow. So I know it's a bit of a roundabout answer, but that's how I think about it.
Thank you guys for staying with us. I hope you enjoyed this podcast and see a lot of gold that Todd shared with us. Please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts about what do you think about future of sales software. Do you think that CRM systems are nice and easy to use?
Please subscribe to our channel. There are lots of interesting episodes coming up in our plan. So, looking forward to meeting you on the next episode.